What's happening, legends? Welcome back to the podcast, Becoming Reborn. Now, today we're going to be talking about training when you're tired and busy. Story of our lives, Patrick.
Yeah, we've done that once or twice and then 7 times a week.
Okay, it seems to be the perfect timing as always, this topic. What happened on Wednesday night, Patrick?
I had an OzTag game and it was a very late game. People out there are
When you say
probably
very
going to,
late.
well, people are going to roll their eyes because the OzTag was at 7:45
That's
p.m.
outrageous.
I said to the OzTag team at the start of the year, if the game is at 6:15, I can play. Any later than that, I'm not playing. And they would all tease me, saying like, oh, you're 90 years old, you've got a bedtime. I'm like, yeah, sleep is important to me. But a big reason is, on a Wednesday, I train at 4 a.m. So I'm at the gym at about 3:30. The alarm has a 2 in it. That just shows why the 7:45 is very late. So I trained really early in the morning. It was a horrible session.
It was horrible.
We were spewing in the car park. It
A
wasn't
lot.
nice. Then that afternoon, whenever I take my kids to swimming lessons, I swim, and it's kind of like a slower, more recovery session. So I'm about a K, then a 7:45 p.m. OzTag game. Way too late. It was a semi-final. We were short. That's the only reason I played, by the way. And really intense game. My back seized up on me, which does happen every now and then. And when I drove home and it cooled down and I went to get out of the car, I couldn't move. It was horrible. I dropped my keys on the ground when I went to get out of the car, and it took me about 5 minutes to pick them up. I was like,
wish I was there.
What did you mention? The guy from
Something
something
about
about Mary with
He's
the
got
crutches when he's trying to pick up his keys.
That's you.
Hilarious. No, you can put that little clip on that on the podcast. That'd be hilarious. But what we're getting at here is, I was tired.
Yeah,
I'd
you
had
were.
a massive day. I'd injured myself. I was busy. I didn't get anywhere near as much sleep that night because normally I'm in bed by about 7:45. Playing OzTag at 7:45 meant I was home about 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Ugh.
Shower, wind down. It's probably about 9:30, if not later, by the time I'm getting to sleep.
I can't sleep after I play OzTag or anything competitive, but mainly
because you're
Oz.
so up. So I was falling asleep roughly 2 hours later than normal. Now, a normal conclusion from that, what a lot of people would think is sleep in the next day. I had a choice, either get an extra hour or two sleep or still wake up at my same time and train. And I chose option 2. And the reason is it was for the remainder of that day. I knew, first of all, I was injured, and if I did nothing about it, nothing's going to get better. So I thought, I've got to get the body moving again. It was muscular pain. And then do recovery, hot and colds, to try and speed up the healing process. But it was for up here.
Yeah.
100% for up in my head, because if I still wake up as early as I normally do, even though I didn't get as much sleep, yes, sleep is important. But for me, 1 hour of training in the morning is way more important.
Yeah, you can just pull it right back.
Yeah.
Was that this morning or was it yesterday?
No, yesterday morning. And I just did a zone 2
You on
session
the
on the
bike?
bike. Yep.
Feels like a week ago.
Yeah. It was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
So I just did 20 Ks on the bike, and I wasn't quick, and I had my heart rate monitor on, and I just stayed at about 70% max heart rate. So it wasn't a difficult session, but it got the blood pumping. More importantly, my brain worked so much better for the rest of the day because of that. Better than if I'd had an extra hour's sleep and not trained.
So because we see it a lot, we've seen I'm gonna call it, and hopefully this doesn't sound disrespectful, but it's a lot of excuses out there, Patrick. But there's always a way to train, especially around injuries as well. And I think where they get it wrong is, like, as soon as there is an injury, it's just like, oh, everything else I can't do it. Anything else. If you got an ankle injury, it's like, yeah, but you got this whole other body that you can still work out. Like your back, it's very central, but still you still got on the bike and got it done.
Out. Even if I were to come in and stretch and do recovery in the sauna and the pools,
Still moving.
which is exactly what I did today.
Yeah.
I think the big difference is a mindset difference around, there's just 2 camps. There's one camp that look for reasons not to exercise, and there's another camp that looks for reasons to exercise. And I love the fact that we're in camp 2 because, perfect example, we went away a week and a half ago now to Penrith for our son's OzTag State Cup.
Yeah.
So we stayed in Penrith for one night. On the Saturday, like, big day the Friday at the games all day, and it's pretty draining. Every reason not to train on a Saturday, but we looked for reasons to train.
Yeah.
And we were there with Maddie deciding whether to go to this random gym in Penrith that his mate goes to, or we checked out the hotel gym. So just train in the hotel gym.
Yeah,
Saturday morning.
it wasn't a decision between are we training or are we not training. It was where we're going to train. And the funny thing is, all three of us did something different.
Yeah, you went for a run.
I went for a run.
But it was like
It was a very good
looking
run
for
too.
ways to train, looking
Yeah.
for reasons to, not reasons not to. Just a simple identity shift.
And I think, and I could be completely biased here, but I think training is like the anchor for discipline as well. So I think if you can master training when you don't want to, and like people look at us and think, oh, like you guys love training. Yeah, we love training, but I have just as many mornings where I do not want to do it.
On Wednesday morning,
I never want to do it.
I did not want to do anything
No.
like that.
I saw it on the Monday and I wanted to kick Tommy straight in the shins and be like, no, Thomas, naughty. But every Wednesday we get up and we get it done. But I don't want to. I don't want to do it. But it's that discipline and it's that mental resilience you build through training and getting that consistent reps in that develops the discipline. But I think that then stems out throughout all your life.
100%.
And it goes straight directly to your work. You got that discipline in your training, it then goes to your work. You got that work at your work, then it also goes towards how you treat your kids. And then your discipline then goes to your kids. So for me, I might be biased. For me, but I also think for everyone else, I might be biased with that part. I think it starts with your training.
100%
If you got discipline in your training, you got discipline everywhere else.
Yeah. Two things I want to add to that, Trav. The first one is we've got an opinion where how someone trains is how they live their life.
Yeah.
And we can observe somebody training and learn a lot about that individual.
Yeah.
And we can make a pick on how someone's going to be in their job and career based off how they exercise. And the funny thing is we're very rarely off the mark with that.
Yeah.
And we've actually made hiring decisions based on how someone trains.
Yep. It says a lot about a person.
Yeah. And the second thing there is it's funny how your mindset shifts when you have kids. In my opinion, it makes it a lot easier to train daily when you have kids, even though it should be the opposite. You've got a lot more going on, your sleep's interrupted, there's a lot more things happening that would get in the way of exercise. But why I say I think it's easier with kids, because it's a simple decision for me. When I've got the opportunity to exercise or the opportunity not to, and all I have to do is say to myself, I picture myself telling my kids, oh, I decided not to train today because I was a bit too tired. Once I've made that decision in my head of how would I say that to my 10-year-old son, game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Me too.
Because it's about, you want to set the example for your kids. What would you want them to do in a similar situation? The type of person that you are is the type of person that your child is going to become or your child is going to aspire to.
So let's give the listeners some tips here of like how they can continue to train when they're tired and busy, because a lot of times we are. So my number one thing is you've got to find your routine, and you got to find a routine that works for your lifestyle. And when you find a routine that suits your lifestyle, if the smallest thing comes in, bit of friction comes in, like, oh no, it's out, then you're missing the point. Life is not smooth. Life is not easy, and things do arise. It's when those things arise and you still get it done, that's where you get the momentum to get the discipline. So create a routine that suits your lifestyle, and when things arise, you stick to it. That's the biggest thing. It's like when problems pop up, you can come up with every excuse that you can, but if you can still get it done, get it done. You don't have to do the full bell ringer session that you might normally do, but just do things like what Paddy did, a zone 2 session or a stretch, like or even a walk.
Go for a walk.
Walks are fantastic.
Keep the routine.
When I remember when I did my teeth, when I had the surgeries on my mouth for my teeth, I remember I was going for walks every single morning. It wasn't as fun, but like it kept the routine and kept the discipline as well.
And that's one of my biggest suggestions when people come to join the gym and they're going from doing absolutely nothing to a completely new routine, you never want people going straight into training 5, 6, 7 times a week because the body's not going to be able to handle it because it's too much of a shift. My suggestion always is when you're starting out, aim for 3 sessions a week, but especially if you're training in the morning, set the alarm for the same time every day and still get up and do something at that time. So a perfect example would be if you're just starting out, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're your 3 training sessions at the gym for that week. But every other day of that week, set the alarm for the same time. And if you were going to do a 6 a.m. gym session, at 6 a.m., go out and go for a walk. Keeps the routine. It gets your sleep, your circadian rhythm set. So you're still waking up at the same time every day, which means it's so much easier to wake up the following day. And then your body just goes into autopilot. You wake up at a certain time and you move at 6 a.m. or whatever that time is. So even if it's not a really high intensity session, we realize that not everyone's a bit sick in the head and wants to do that every single day. Sweet. Do something lower intensity at the same time every day.
That reminds me of the story in Atomic Habits where it talks about the lady.
I know where you're going. The identity shift?
Yeah, she gets up in the morning. She lives in New York. I'm trying to piece this together as I'm speaking, so bear with me here, guys. And basically she says, I'm not developing the skill of going to the gym. All I'm doing is developing the habit of getting to the cab. Once you're in the cab, your decision's being made.
Yeah.
So it's like she got into that routine of every morning she'd get up and have whatever she would do before she got to the cab. But the biggest thing she had to do was hail for the cab in New York so she could get to her gym. Once you do that, everything else took it. It's like getting in that routine though.
Make that first step.
Yeah.
It's like it might be for you, it might be at home, it might be putting your shoes on, like your joggers that you would wear to the gym. Because once you start that ball rolling, everything else happens. No one gets 10 minutes into a session at the gym and taps out and goes, no, I don't want to train today.
Yeah.
Once you've started, you're there. Like once you've put your shoes on, you then go through the process of walking to the car. Thought about it, but you've never done it.
No.
Actually, I thought about it on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, so much.
But it was 8 sets and 2 sets in after the rower, the little voice came in my head of like, no, I'm not doing the second round.
This
like,
is so hard.
I don't want to do rounds 5 to 8.
You start making.
I wanted to
deals
tap
with
out.
yourself.
I was making deals with myself, and I was like, "What's my excuse that I can use to get out of this?"
Why
and
do we
then
all have that stupid
everyone
little
has
voice?
that voice. So if you're listening at home thinking that like you're strange because you've got this voice where you want to take shortcuts or you want to tap out on things or you don't want to do the whole workout, every single person has that voice, but it's making the other voice stronger.
Oh, that voice, I hate it. But also, it makes it's like that little fight within.
You know, the funny thing, when we finished that sesh, you weren't there, but I came out into the reception area and Matty Coleman and Billy Morris and Geordie Bicken were in there. And I said, boys, I was close to tapping out. I had that voice in my head telling me, nah, you're done. Finish this sesh. Like, you won't be able to finish it. And all 3 of the boys said, I had the exact same thing. Because the intensity was just through the roof for the first 20 seconds. And then we knew we were there for 40 minutes and it was going to be an absolute bell ringer. Everyone had that voice.
So what it was, guys, it was 20 on, 10 seconds off, and you had to stay in the same machine for 8 rounds in a row. And what made it so hard was that your score was recorded after every set. And how we record it is Tommy would call out your name and you have to say how many cows that you got.
Accountability. And there was 20 of us. 22 of us in the
and
room.
you had to do it within a minute.
And it's competitive assholes too.
So like if you'd hear someone like get like a 40, you're like, ooh.
Yeah. No one said a word.
No one said anything, but you felt
oh.
it. But then Mickey Moz and Daz, they were getting like high 80s on the bike erg,
yeah.
and everyone was like, oh my God. Yeah. So it was that intense. And then everyone just was like, all right, we've got to go again.
That accountability.
How many rounds is that, bro?
64 rounds. Oh,
that is disgusting.
Yeah.
Thomas Carr, you sicko.
You're a dog. But yeah, that like group accountability like is so powerful because there's so much pride in that room and like pride and ego and arrogance. There's a lot of positives and negatives to it. And a lot of people always kind of lean towards the negatives. There's a massive positive to it. You and we speak often about the ego that we have. In an environment like that, it is truly powerful because straight up, vulnerable moment here, I don't want to look like a bitch in front of the boys.
Yeah.
So when like I was getting to the ski and my ass was hanging out and you were averaging about 8 to 10 cals a set. And I remember when I got to the ski in my first set, I got 6 cals and I was My biggest fear then, and it was a true fear, was I don't want to be embarrassed by saying a score that's 40. Like, because the boys are going to think less of me, and I'm better than that. That's what I was saying to myself, and it was so hard.
We had the same moment.
Really?
Yeah, but mine's slightly worse because I was on the salt bike on the second round, and I started and I just shut my eyes for the 20 seconds. And I looked down. I thought I was going to see like 7, 8, maybe even a 9. I saw a 5. Yeah, just let that one sink in.
Just tell me, Trav, and it is slightly off topic, but this is really important here. What's your self-talk like in a moment like that? Because a lot of people can go one of two ways here.
So the first thing, you might have even heard I go, it was a big loud F.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're like, in my head, I'm like, you're better than that.
That's what I was getting at.
You're better than that. And then I'm like, all right, now you need to make it back. So then from then on in, it was like, all right, first 10 seconds, go as hard as you possibly can, and then just maintain from there. And then I have lapses of when I'm training, and it is a good thing when we're doing the big like endurance stuff, I can get into a rhythm and a flow where like I don't think and I can just do, but I can have lapses when it's high intensity and I go, oh shit, I've got to switch back on here. It was one of those ones, and I just went, all right, you're better than that. You've got to lift the next 7. And I just lifted.
Because your self-talk and how you communicate with yourself is so important in moments like that, because your body listens to your brain.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's the other way around. Your brain responds to what your body is doing. No. Your body responds to what your brain is thinking and how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
And you saying you're better than that, come on, I've got to get this back, that leads to your body then doing that.
Yeah.
If your self-talk there is, you're a bitch, you can't do this, like, why are you so weak? Like, your body is going to listen to your brain. Funny, they did this study, and this shows the power of the mind, even with something like exercise. And they had 2 groups, 100 people in each group, right? Now, there's a gene in some people, and they tested them all for it, where it's a genetic mutation that makes you better able to exercise under fatigue. So a lot of endurance athletes that are really good have this genetic abnormality, right? I'd say you've probably got it, Trav, because you're an animal with endurance. They had 100 people in each group. They just split them randomly. Now, the first group of 100 people, they told all of them, so guys, we're about to do this endurance workout. We tested everybody. You all have a genetic mutation that shows that you're actually going to be better at this workout, right? But it was random. Half had it, half didn't. The second group, they said, guys, there's a genetic mutation that everyone's been tested for, makes them better at this workout. You don't have it. So you're going to struggle at this workout a lot more, right? Again, half of them had it, half of them didn't, right? This group, they all went in thinking they had it. This group went in thinking they didn't. The group that got told they've got the genetic mutation, way outperformed the other group who told they didn't have it, even though some of them didn't have it and they would smoke the people that did have it. So what mattered wasn't whether you had the genetic mutation that made you better at exercise or not. What mattered was whether you believed you did or not. And the results apparently were incredible, like huge difference just based on whether you were told or not.
Wow.
So
Power of mind.
Cheesy line, right? But if you believe you can do something, you can do it more than if you believe that you can't.
Love that. That goes on to like our topic that we're talking about when it's like when it comes to your training, you can do it. The excuses just get in the way. Make time for what's important to you. Develop that discipline, and over time, you'll become very resilient.
And one point to leave everyone on, and again, it's around your self-talk. I want you to talk to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend, because the words that you often use to yourself can be a lot more negative and a lot more critical. But picture your best friend going through what you're going through and talk to yourself as you would talk to them. So if someone's struggling, if your best friend is struggling in a workout, you're not going to say, you're a bitch, you can't finish this. You're going to go, come on, bro, you can do this. You've got it in you. I've seen you. You can do this. Talk to yourself that way. If you wake up and you're a bit tired, if your friend had texted you saying, I'm a bit too tired, I'm going to sleep in, what are you going to say back to them? Come on, bro, you can do this. Let's train together.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself that way.
Love that. Well done. All right, guys. Till next week. Peace.